What is going on, everybody? Ryan Leary, William Tinkup here today with the BARF. This is our look back at the week that was, so you could prepare for the week that is. Did I steal that from somebody, or is that
Probably.
actually
Probably.
probably,
No.
yeah?
Run
But
with
it
it.
sounds like I know what I'm talking about, so I'm gonna go with it.
100%.
I'm gonna go
100%.
with it. So this has
Make it
been
till you make it.
this has been an interesting week, man.
It
It's
has.
been fun and long and feels really long this week.
Mm, awkward.
But yeah, awkward. Which I'm looking at you. So if you're watching, he's wearing, obviously, because you could see. If you're not watching, he's wearing a, what do you call that? Fuchsia? No, pink,
Oh, no, it's hot pink, baby. It's
hot pink
Barbie pink.
California Barbie pink shirt from ISOP, which is a sponsor, by the way. So thank you all. However, I
Props.
need a new shirt if you're listening
Yeah.
because I put mine on. It looked fantastic.
Yeah.
I
What happened?
washed it and then I dried it.
Ooh. No, you don't dry.
Mm-mm, mm-mm.
You don't dry.
And now,
It's a life lesson, right?
yeah,
Don't
well,
dry.
now it's almost like I gained a bunch of weight.
You just gave it to one of your daughters?
Yeah, yeah, and they dig it too. They do. I'll take a
Oh, yeah.
picture and yeah, they wear it. It's a
Oh,
nightgown for
100%.
them, but
Yeah,
so.
yeah. It's 100%.
Anywho, we've got the BARF for the 23rd. Today's the 23rd,
That is
right?
correct.
Yeah,
Correct.
yeah,
Sunday.
yeah,
Yeah.
it is Sunday the 23rd. So why don't you kick us off? Get us kicked off on the news, man. What do you
I
got?
will. I will. So far, for everyone that hasn't listened to before, breaking news, acquisitions, research, and funding. We're going to blow through it really fast. Give you some fun stories to consume.
You're just
And
assuming that people don't listen to us.
hey, you know what? I'm hopeful and optimistic that people know. But if they don't,
Yeah.
all right.
Yeah.
So first story I want to pitch you is inside the revolt at the Wall Street Journal. This was at nationalreview.com, so you can go there and kind of look up the story. Basically, a new leader, a woman from the UK, wants the paper to be reader first and sustain the white, wealthy male base, but increase the online presence. Turns out the establishment within the Wall Street Journal hates her.
Oh.
So this is shocking, not shocking. By the way, I think she's making all the right moves because this is kind of what went on at the New York Times. You know, someone had to come in and go, "Yeah, you're doing it all wrong. Let's stop doing that."
Uh-huh.
And it's happening at the Wall Street Journal, which is fantastic. But she is most hated because of the change and what it represents.
Oh, well, good luck to her.
100%.
So,
And
all right. So,
what do you
Drink
got?
Pack. You ever hear of Drink Pack?
I have not heard of Drink Pack. What's that?
Me neither until I read the story. So,
Okay.
Drink Pack sued the cloud-based payroll software company that we know as Paylocity.
Yeah.
June 11th. So, this is fairly new, alleging that it committed errors that led to it twice being sued for alleged wage and hour violations. So, we've
Ooh.
reported on so many of these employers just not paying people, miscalculating payroll, miscalculating overtime, miscalculating
Right.
travel expenses, all of the above. So these guys are standing up and they're just saying, dude, this wasn't our fault. So what I took from this story is that company, and this is just as tricky because you purchase a software, you pay a lot of money for a software. It
Well,
goes
payroll
down.
software in particular. Yeah.
Well, yeah, technically, it goes down, and that's what you rely on. And so when it goes down, what do you do, right? It's not like a house, you have an emergency generator.
Well,
So
did it go down? Like, was the system down, or was it just miscalculated?
no, there was an issue with the system. So
Outage.
there was an
Got
outage, yeah. So in 2021,
Interesting.
Paylocity failed to accurately program the employees' regular rate of pay for determining overtime.
Right.
So as well as meal premiums and all that type of stuff. So the question really is, who's at fault? All right. So historically, the authorities, the enforcement authorities, say that the employer is responsible for the ongoing management. So
Yeah.
regardless of what
It's a
happens,
it's a suit that follows another suit. So the government
But, but, but,
agency
but, but.
can't go after Paylocity. They have to go after the employer. That's
Right.
has to be that way. Now, what the employer will turn around and do is, again, in that case,
Right.
whether or not it was an outage or whether or not it was a calculation error, then the company will sue
Mm-hmm.
Paylocity, or they'll work it out in some type of deal
Some type
in
of joint
terms.
settlement of some sort. Right. But we've
Right.
reported on, and so I
Yeah.
just, how many of these companies are just like, I guess we made a mistake, as opposed to, no, we really didn't make a mistake. It's
Yeah.
actually the tech making the mistake. So we'll see.
Yeah. All right. So, are you familiar with GLP dash one drugs?
No.
Oh,
Can't say
oh,
that I am.
oh, 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 oh,
Ozempic.
Ozempic. There you
Yeah,
go.
there
Right.
you go.
So, there's a bunch of these, by the way. Not just Ozempic, but there's literally a ton of these types of things. Some of them treat just diabetes, some of them diabetes, and also it helps your heart.
Hmm.
Sometimes it helps your kidney. Sometimes it also helps your weight loss. So first, it's diabetes,
Hmm.
and so it has other things that help. And people are most familiar with Ozempic, I think. It is a rage. A lot of people are taking these types of shots, these types of drugs. Now, what this story that I want to pitch you on is employee coverage for diabetes slash weight loss drugs, GLP-1,
Hmm.
rises sharply. And for me, will employers continue to fund these drugs? Now, I found a
Well,
fantastic pulse survey on this on ifebp.org. It stands for International Federation and something Employee Benefits. But the thing, what is cool is it goes through and it tells all about the drugs and the rising cost in the drugs. So the
hmm.
rising cost is what keeping your eyes on. Okay, if the cost of the drug is rising, and your employee benefits, and you have pharmaceuticals, how much will the employer pay of that particular drug? Will it pay half? Will it pay all? Like
Hmm.
that's well, that's just a part of kind of your insurance, your health insurance plan. So I also found, well, in conjunction to this, a great comparison article that explains all the GLP-1s, the benefits, and it also has a graphic that is fantastic for comparison. Like you can look at one graphic and see all the GLPs, and then look at exactly what it does, how
Hmm.
often you have to take it. It's shot once a week, once a day, blah blah blah. But what it got me to think about, and why I wanted to bring it up to you, is with obesity being such a thing in the United States, 120 million, or at least obese, not grossly obese, and all the other different derivatives of that, or at least overweight. Let's just say that. Make it simple for folks. Um, GoodRx.com. If you go to GoodRx.com and you put in GLP-1 comparison, it will give you a fantastic graphic to actually see exactly what these things do. And so, with knowing what you know now, Ryan, you were not learned on GLP-1s before this. Now you are.
Hmm.
Will a company's stance on GLP-1s, will it help them retain or recruit talent?
Yes.
Yeah, that's what I came to too.
Did you want more of
Because
an analysis?
no, 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 no.
Yes, it will. Because, I mean, look, for obvious reasons, right? Like, I don't want to pay for something if
Right,
you're going to pay for it.
right.
People go to companies because they pay their internet bill, their phone bill, their
Good
car
point.
bill, right? This is just another extension of that. I don't know if I love the medications and all that. I don't know much about
Right.
it. However, yes, I do think that will go. I mean, people
It's
go for pet
lead with
insurance.
it. It's almost, yeah. Lead with it. If you're recruiting, put it in your job description. Put it in
Yeah.
your job ad, and just
I
say,
noticed you
yeah,
need to lose a little bit of weight. Let me just tell you about this fantastic
100%.
benefit.
Hey, you're fat and talented. We got you. We got you, baby.
Oh man. All right. I'm moving on because I loves me some co-pilots.
Yes, you
And you
do.
know I always got to talk about a co-pilot. So EY
100%. Yeah.
is going to roll out for 100,000 workers the Microsoft Copilot,
Wow.
essentially making them their largest, obviously, customer. Uh,
Hmm.
so then, there's a whole bunch of things, obvious things that it's going to do, right? But my stance on Copilots is that I want one every day of my life. Like I
Yeah,
just think
sure.
I can't wait until it is ready to be ready. PwC is doing this as well. They're
Hmm.
using, obviously not Microsoft. They're going to go with OpenAI for the
Yeah.
same thing. Yeah.
It helps
So
them, helps them with their employees, helps their customers. Everybody
employees,
wins.
customers, everything. And so I'm curious actually to really see where this goes because I joke about it a lot. And so, well, this
Right.
Copilot's going to be fantastic for all the obvious reasons at work. But I think as these things mature,
Yeah.
that's when we're and as the co-pilots mature and the companies are upskilling their employees because we know that's happening. And there's actually a survey. I don't know if I'm talking about it. I don't know if I have it and I can't remember. But more than 50% of employees are ready and willing to be upskilled in AI. They've
Yep.
already come to the conclusion that if I
This
don't
isn't
do
going away.
this,
Yeah.
I'm going away, right? And
I like
so,
consulting firms making bets here. That's what I
yeah,
like about it.
yeah, yeah. So, anyway, I like it. Thought you would too.
All right, let me pitch you this story. Tech firms tighten staff security over China spying concerns. This was at payments, PYMNTS.com.
We
So
getting
if
rid
you
of
go there,
TikTok?
hey, here's the deal. It sounds like a movie, but turns out business espionage is a real thing,
Yeah.
and it's a good time to invest in identity verification products. So like
Mm.
ID Me and some of the ones that you and I have demoed. This is a really good time
Hmm.
to make sure that person is really that person. But it's again with especially with more and more bets that these big tech firms make. This is just one of these things that they're going to have to be concerned about. They've been concerned. It's not like Google doesn't have a strategy or Meta
Right.
or
Right.
anything like that. They have a strategy for this.
Mm.
However, the fact that they're actually saying we're going to get tightened, we're going to get tighter about
Yeah.
hiring people and making sure that they don't leave the office with our IP, etc. I found fascinating.
Hmm. Yep. All right. Just because I can and I want to, I'm going to talk about another co-pilot. So I'm not going to waste too much time here. But Seipel
Yep,
launches Copilot for staffing, recruiting, candidate engagement.
that's cool.
Nothing fascinating nor brand new, however, much needed.
Yeah, yeah.
And obviously, this just goes from the recruiters into clients into the whole bit, right? Like all the way down the line. So we're talking things here like so the obvious things, right? Uh, Summarizing candidate profiles, Boolean
Hmm.
searches, personalized communication, all of that stuff. What I think often goes overlooked in the recruiter space, not HR or business or sales or any of that, but in specifically in recruiters, is the ability for AI generated answers
Yeah.
both to candidates and to the recruiters. So in HR, there's plenty of models out there now and platforms out there now where the HR leader or somebody, even legal, can go in and get a really propose a complex question and get a real complex answer,
Well, and
break it
I'll
down.
take the I'll take the opposite of that. Instead of logging into a system,
Hmm.
hire all the people that are involved, whether or not it's the hiring manager, the recruiter, the candidate, etc. They can then ask the question, "Hey, where are we at with so and so?"
Right, right.
And so instead of going into a system and
They just
looking and
ask.
saying, they just ask.
Yeah, yeah.
I
I,
love it.
I love
Smart.
it. I love that recruit is coming, and I know this has been around for recruiters, but I think again, as these things mature, recruiters
Yeah.
become significantly better and smarter at their jobs. So please don't be afraid, recruiters. We love you.
All right, this story is nearly half of Dell's full-time workforce in the United States has rejected return to office. They'd rather they'd rather work from home
Hmm,
than get promoted. Let that
dang.
sink in. So that's at fortune.com. So you go to Fortune and type in Dell employee work from home, and then you'll get all the bit. So here's what I think is going to happen. I think this sounds
Hmm.
good, but there's going to be some buyer remorse here, and it's
Yeah.
going to also increase pay equity gaps. And it's so basically it's going to be something that we're going to have to solve for in the future. So it sounds like, oh yeah, hey, I want to work home. I don't care if I get promoted. Well,
Yeah. Until you don't get paid.
until some all these other people start flanking you and they start getting promoted and you don't, you'll be like, wait a minute, hold on, what about me?
Yeah.
I'm doing the same job. I'm better than so and so. It's like, yeah. So I think it's kicking the can down the road. A lot of
Yeah.
this is just like, yeah, you want to work from home, and you think that that's a trade off for getting promoted. I think at one
Yeah.
point you're going to regret that.
Yeah. I no doubt. No doubt about it. I think it's going to be sooner than later. I think once a couple paychecks settle in, and I've got some stuff later I want to talk about, which is very
Yeah.
similar to this. So we'll see some of my thoughts for that. Do you have Weiss Markets down there in Texas?
Nothing I know of.
No. Okay. Well, if you do, you can now know that they are $75,000 poorer. Not
Again,
that that is
little
not that
light.
that's a major blow to the market, right? It's
That's not
no
even a
big
day of
change.
sales. No
Yeah,
worries.
no, it's like an hour, maybe not even. So anyhow, so they settled an EEOC lawsuit alleging that it failed to stop sexual harassment. So I want to read some of this because I want to get it right because we're talking about sexual harassment. So in Mifflintown, PA, and I should probably Google that because I have no clue where that is. But I wonder if that's near
I'd
Dunder
say north.
Mifflin.
I'm gonna say it's northwestern, up by
Maybe.
Pittsburgh.
Yeah, I've never been out that way. It's by Dunder Mifflin. Is that even real? Um, so anyway, a supervisor at the Mifflintown, PA location created a sexually hostile work environment for an employee through inappropriate
Oof.
comments and unwanted physical contact. So,
I'm just shocked that this shit still exists. I'm just,
yeah, well,
it
yeah. I
drives me
mean,
crazy.
lot of hornballs out there. A
Yeah.
witnessing supervisor failed to report the conduct, and a general manager also failed to stop it upon being informed.
Oof.
Weiss Markets required this is the part I'm kind of confused on. So it's almost like they were trying to say, no, this really didn't happen. You're
Yeah.
just there's something wrong with you.
Yeah.
So Weiss
That's.
Markets required the harassed employee to participate in counseling through an employee assistance program, even though management
Yippee.
had no reason to believe she couldn't perform her job or was in danger to herself or others. She refused. So refusal to participate in this program led to management firing her.
Oh, that should have been a
So
much bigger settlement.
absolutely, it
That's
should have been
that's
number
horrible.
one. Two, this way it's probably like a small town up in PA somewhere. I'd probably Google. It's probably like an hour from me, but I couldn't help but think these are like three or four men doing their thing
Yeah.
and trying to brainwash or convince this
It's
employee.
it's victim shaming. It's
Yeah,
victim
like it
blaming.
it it didn't happen. Like no, no, no,
Yeah.
no. We're very
That's not what
concerned for
we
your
meant.
health.
That's not what. That's a mansplaining. That's not what we meant when we said,
Yeah.
you know,
Yeah, it was kind of like I felt dirty reading it. It was weird,
yeah.
but I mean, hey, bad job, Weiss. You should be ashamed and yeah, no bueno.
All right. Here's a story. California fines Amazon $6 million for alleged
Mm.
violations of warehouse quota law at two warehouses. Okay, so this is at foxbusiness.com. You can go look at basically just Google Amazon $6 million. You'll figure it out. So California Labor Commissioner's Office has fined Amazon a total of basically 5.9 million for the allegations that the company violated the state law, the warehouse quota law enacted in 2022, by working warehouse employees so hard that their safety is put at risk. Now, this will be controversial-ish. Shit like this is how FOBO happens.
Yeah.
So Amazon's push for speed, it leads to high rates of injuries. Intro robotics. because robotics, they don't have to adhere to quota laws and shit like
Mm-hmm.
that. So, if you're Amazon, you'll take the $6 million bite. Okay, fine, got
Yeah.
it. And at one point, you're going to say, you know what? If we invest all those funds into completely uh, automating our entire warehouse process, which most of it is. I've been
Mm-hmm.
inside of a distribution center. A lot of it is. But if they do it even further, then they're just going to get out of these types of cases. So, you
Yeah.
know, it was enacted like when you go into the warehouse quota law, it was enacted in good spirit. Like let's not work people to death and create an unsafe environment. Fair.
Mm-hmm.
However, at one point, these big businesses are going to look at it and say, you know
Got to
what?
make a decision.
Yeah, I think we'll just get rid of the humans.
Yeah. Yeah. And probably get better service and less return rates and wrong products and
All kinds of stuff.
injuries and
Don't
yeah,
know.
all that stuff. All right. So Borderless AI and Cohere team up to build a custom trained AI model for HR professionals, taking on our friends over at Deal and Remote. So if you
Hmm.
remember back in March timeframe, we talked about Borderless AI. They announced a $27 million
Yep.
seed round. Uh, since then, Deal and Remote, they've made news for big funding rounds,
Right.
acquisitions, etc. I think
Right.
Deal had like 2 in 2 weeks. Now, Borderless AI is announcing that they are teaming up with Cohere to essentially build a proprietary HR knowledge base across all of Canada. So it's a co-pilot or a chatbot, sorry, that'll
Right.
work all across Canada for best practices and employment law. So the use case
Oh, that's cool.
here, yeah, it is, and it's obviously more complex than I'm talking how I'm presenting it here. But the use case here is that it's going to help with tasks requiring complex reasoning, and they go into what complex reasoning is and critical thinking for their employees, obviously with domain knowledge and capabilities. Anyhow, the interesting part for me here is employment law
Hmm.
and contracts as well. And so I think we're going to see a lot more of this across the globe. We've seen it a lot, and there's a lot of platforms out there that will do this for small business.
Right.
And now I think it's becoming more accepted in enterprise, and that's where this is gonna take place.
Even if it's
Um,
just a bot where you're asking, is this legal? And it tells you no, and
right?
it cites the case,
Yeah,
whether or not it actually writes contracts and do all that other stuff. I think there are legal AI startups
that'll
that do
handle
all
that.
that do
The
that stuff, but just
Yeah, I
understanding
think,
employment law.
and I think the challenge is going to be how do I trust that the AI is going to be correct, right? Without me fact checking and doing all of that.
Citing. It's
I
citing.
believe, yeah, I just believe, like me personally, if my employer's saying yes, we trust it, yes, this is good enough for our organization, well then I'm going to trust it. And I
Yeah.
and so I wonder at what level are errors going to be overlooked. Um, but
I think it makes employment law accessible to everyone. I'm
absolutely
not
it
thinking
does.
about trust or trusted verify or anything like that. I'm thinking about if I'm a hiring manager, hell, just a manager of employees,
Hmm.
can I do this? Is this legal?
Right,
Now I can ask something that can give me the kind of the range of what
right.
is and isn't legal in Canada. Shit, I don't have to know the law. I just have to be able to ask the question
I
and
have
it
to
to
be
be
able
able
to
to
ask a question.
give me the
Yeah.
cite the cases or
Yeah,
cite the
well,
precedents.
I'm not that I'm waiting for because I want to see it, but I kind of do want to. I want to see what happens when a company installs something like this. They implement something like
Hmm.
this, and someone asks that question, and the
Right.
AI comes back and says, "Yes, you're good," and then there's a $50 million lawsuit because they did something they shouldn't have. So I'd be
Yep.
curious to see
That's probably
how
going to
often
happen.
that's going to happen. Oh, absolutely, it will.
Money time. It's
It
acquisitions
is.
time, baby. It's A.
It is money time. Is this me? Am I going? Am I going first?
Yes.
I'll
Indeed,
go
you are,
first.
Ryan. See?
All right, so I feel like I want to go do 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 do. That was really cheesy. Bullhorn
Ching.
acquires text kernel to accelerate its AI strategy.
Mm-hmm.
Um, yeah, man, text kernel's been around for a minute. They've
It,
uh, they've been around, and it's almost like they've been forgotten in this. We're not to say obviously they're significant, but I think in the grand scheme, they're just not talked about all the time because
yeah,
they're doing things behind the scenes. And
yeah.
curious to get your take on this one because I think this is pretty significant for Bullhorn.
They've got over 2,000 customers. They're the thing that Text Kernel or Sovereign or Daxtra or any of those,
Hmm.
they're the Intel inside.
Yeah,
It's not a name that you're going to know. Even if you're an HR tech, you're
you
not
might
really
not
going to
know
know
them.
them. They're just baked into everybody's stuff, whether or not it's a CRM or an ATS or something like that. So Bullhorn taking them off the market, to me, it's an important acquisition. And even though they came up through resume parsing, like those other players, they've really gotten good at smart matching,
Yeah,
being able
matching
to not just
insights.
right, not just be able to parse like, yep, that's table stakes. So I wonder how it's going to impact the other historical parsing engines. First of all, I think it's a great acquisition. So I'll just say
Mm-hmm.
that's a great one for Bullhorn to be able now to just kind of take it off the market. I mean, they'll probably still sell text kernel to people, but they're going to have it baked into their system.
Right.
And so that just, the rich get richer, right? Bullhorn owns what, 65% of the international
Yeah.
staffing CRM market. Now this just gives them, they were party partners for a long time. And then they just said, you know what? Let's become more than partners.
Right. Yep.
Speaking of partners, Keystone Partners
Keystone.
has a, has acquired the Ayers Group. It's a leader in executive coaching, leadership development, and outplacement services from Kelly Services. So Kelly Services spun out the Ayers Group and had it as a standalone. I knew them mostly on the outplacement side. So I know that they did other things than that, but I knew them more on the outplacement side. So you can go there, keystonepartners.com, and read more about the acquisition. But
Okay.
this is one of these acquisitions where both people win. It helps Keystone's ability to deliver career management, leadership transformation solutions, but it's a solid match of what they do. So they can sell to each other's customers. It's just solid. I love these acquisitions because it's a piece of a puzzle with another piece of a puzzle that perfectly fit. Might have a little overlap,
A
but
little bit,
not that much.
but it
R
works. Yes. Oh, all right. I'm gonna say I
research.
don't know if this is necessarily research.
I like it.
Um,
I like starting out that way. Go ahead.
yeah. We'll deviate here. So
Eh,
Hannah Williams,
okay.
who I don't know, but maybe we will know. Maybe we'll get her on the show. She's a Gen Z TikToker who became an outspoken advocate for pay transparency.
Mm,
Um, so this is actually kind of interesting, which is why I wanted to bring it up. So she graduated from Georgetown in 2019. She picked up her first job at 90K a year. Not sure what it was in. But after working there for a little bit, this is just a little backstory so people know who she is. She found out that others were making 130K for the same role, doing the same job. Now, I don't
yep.
know what their experience level was, if they were male or female. I'm assuming they were male versus female. But if they have 10 years, 5 years, I don't know what that is. Okay. So that I don't know. But she quickly became outspoken around pay transparency and pay gap, and has since just become a full-time content creator. So she's actually built a pretty large following. She's got
Right.
1.5 million followers on TikTok. She's got 35 million likes or something like that, 870,000 ish Instagram followers. Um, and so she's partnered up with Capital One, so she's making some money there, uh, but all around the topic of pay transparency. And so I wanted to bring this up because it actually she's actually making some inroads at organizations to have real intelligent conversations. It's not just swiping quick little videos. She's actually made some inroads there. But in 2022, this is what they quoted, women earned 82 cents for every dollar that
Right.
men earned. I think that
And that's
number
even and
has
that's even
changed.
broken down by race.
Yeah,
So once you dig into the 82 cents, then you find that actually it's not 82 cents. Asian women make,
right.
uh, African American women make, blah
Right,
blah
right,
blah.
right.
All right,
So,
let's pick up the pace. All right,
yeah,
go.
yeah.
So you did note that it takes 169 years to close the gender pay
Hmm.
gap by the World Economic Forum. I don't think we'll ever close it.
No.
I don't think it will ever be closed, especially with stories like Dell, where people are going to get promoted that are working in the office. How is that ever going to? That's going to worsen the gender pay equity gap, not make it better. Anyhow, let me pitch this story to you. Best and worst states for working dads in 2024 by Wallet Hub. That's wallethub.com. You can go look at the study. Ryan, happy Father's Day.
Thank
That
you.
was last Sunday. All right.
Yeah.
So Pennsylvania is ranked 18th.
Hmm.
Texas is Texas is ranked 37th.
Hmm.
New Mexico is ranked 51.
Hmm. Wait, so wait, Pennsylvania is the 18th worst state or
No,
18th
best.
best?
Yeah, it's yeah. Well, it depends. 25 would be on the downslope, right? 1 to
Yeah.
25 would, or 1 to 24 would be on the upslope. So you're on the upslope. So you're on the good
Okay.
side. I am not on the good side. I'm on the 37 side. And New Mexico, dead last. So this is
Hmm.
the best and worst states for working dads in 2024. So
Ah,
damn,
show.
New Mexico.
Oh man. All right. 1 in 5 employees would take a pay cut for a 4-day work week. I say F that. I am not
Yeah,
taking a pay cut for a 4-day work
no.
week. I will work extra hours each day and take a 4-day work week, but I'm not taking less money for a 4-day work week.
So
The
you'd increase the hours. So you'd work 12
Yeah, yeah.
hours,
Look, if you're working
13
eight
hours a
hours,
day.
do yeah, like add up a little bit, or change the job, or maybe we don't need to work 40 hours. I don't know, but I'm not going to take a pay cut. I'll just work the extra day.
Yeah,
Look,
I'm with you on that one.
look, 78% of Americans are living paycheck to paycheck.
They can't have less money.
They can't have less money. 34%, whatever that number is, don't even think they can retire because they don't have enough money to retire.
Right.
How are you going to say, look, we're going to let you work 4 days a week, but we're going to cut you 20%?
I don't,
No.
I mean, first of all, it's 1 in 5, so it is something to think about. But the fact that they would take a pay cut, just that 1 of 5 that would take
Yeah.
a pay cut, that's insane. If
Yeah.
you're going to you're going to do the work. You're going to cram the work in. You got to get at least paid. And in a perfect world, you'd get paid more
Yeah.
to do it in
Uh,
4 days.
I think you would get it. I think you would probably be more productive or have at least the same productivity in 4 days in less hours because you wouldn't BS the
Yeah,
rest of the time. You get your
you're
stuff
motivated.
done.
Yeah, yeah, you're motivated.
Yeah.
All right.
Yeah. So,
Ronstad's latest survey sheds light on the LGBTQIA plus community, workplace challenges, and path to inclusion. That's at Ronstad USA. You can go and take a look at their full report. And I'm not going to read all the statistics,
hmm
but the one that actually threw me a little bit was 50% of the survey respondents commend their employee pride initiatives. Now, what that means is another 50% didn't. This is the
mm,
colorization for Pride Month and stuff like that, of the rainbowization of logos and stuff like that. So, whatever Pride initiatives that a company has, 50% of the people think, "Yep, we're doing a good job." 50% of the people think, "Nope, hate it." So go read the study. I'm just quoting one stat. There's a bunch of really, really cool stats in it. RonstadUSA.com. Go take a look at it.
all right. I've got one more. I'll be quick on
Okay.
this one. Gartner.
Okay.
So not much here. Well, for me, there wasn't much here. 35% of HR teams are not. I'm sorry. 35% of HR teams are confident in their
Yeah.
HR business, current
Ooh.
approach to HR
I mean,
tech.
65% aren't.
Right.
Yeah. Huh.
Yeah.
Okay.
So there's a lot to be said there. They went on with, how you can implement and how to incrementally implement technology and how to address AI concerns and all of that. But I mean, look, if only 35% are confident, yeah, there's probably more work that needs to be done. So
100%.
check it
You'd
out at
want to see
Gartner.
you'd
Just
want to
know
see
that you
that
got work.
reversed.
Yeah,
You'd want
you
to see it
just
because the teams, you want them to be confident about what they're doing.
yeah, nothing I tell you here is gonna make you better at that. Go read the report. It's over at Gartner.
New Deloitte research reveals 80% of CEOs feel pressured by
Hmm,
employees, customers, and boards to improve human sustainability.
good. Do
That's
your
at
job.
Deloitte.com, and go read the research report. My fear is they're being pressured, but at the end of the day, they're going to pick profit over planet.
Yeah.
So that's the cynic in me is like, okay, I feel this pressure to do this. However, we got to make money. And I think that that's going to be the eventual,
Hmm.
uh, the math that gets played out. So
Yeah, I don't know that
go to
it's it.
Deloitte.com.
Yeah, I don't think it's a popular opinion. I look, businesses are there to make money, not save the earth. There are businesses that are there to save
Turns
the
out.
earth.
Cost of living ranking 2024 by Mercer. Hong Kong, Singapore, and Zurich are currently the costliest city for international workers.
Mm.
That's at Mercer.com. You can go and take a look at their talent mobility. And so global, how will the costliest city impact garnering talent from those areas? So if you live in Zurich, how does that impact your ability to get a job globally? Because you live in an expensive city. So it's again kind of that question, age old question of how do you reconcile pay equity issues based on where people live? So
Okay.
something to think about. Go take a look at the full study at Mercer.com. It's a good study. And now we're on to funding, Ryan. Dollar signs.
Oh yes, funding, funding, funding. There's actually a good
So,
amount of money. I didn't see too much in
yeah.
HR tech, but we can tie it back. So AIM Security
Mm-hmm.
closes 18 million in a Series A just 4 months out of stealth. So this is obviously a security company around AI. Essentially allows companies to use Gen I or enables companies to use Gen I in a safe, responsible manner. When you tie this back into talent organizations, so this is going to allow talent leaders and security and et cetera to understand really where all Gen AI apps are enabled across the enterprise, which could be
Right.
like I'm just putting something on because I want to put something in there.
Right.
The company will now be able to tell whether I put it in, the company put it in, is it approved, how is it being used, why is it
Oh,
being
cool.
used, what am I doing with it, what's good, what's bad. They can turn it off, they can do whatever they need to do. But it allows them to see really what applications can store and learn your data, important, and understand what data is connected to which LLM, which is
Smart.
important
Now
as
you can
well.
track back to the where.
You trap
Nice.
back to the way, and there's obviously a lot of security and all this stuff, right? That's the main purpose of this. But 18 million, congrats to them. We'll see a lot more of them. Israeli-based company.
Showed Me raises 3 million for expansion and costs. Cutting edge training solutions. This is at moneyleads.co. What I like about this particular training kind of solution is they link training and engagement. So they got 3 million. Showed Me. And you can take a look at the moneyleads.com so you can read the story yourself. Ding.
That's fancy.
Nomad Health, a provider of travel nurses and allied healthcare professionals, raised 22 million. So this is actually found on staffingindustry.com,
Mm,
and so it's a job board that's focused on a scarcity-based market, nurses, traveling nurses, etc. I think it's a proposition they can't lose. This is, in my opinion, this is an example of smart money.
yeah,
So
yeah.
going
And
after that particular
anything
market,
in that area is
100%.
not bad. All right, I'm gonna
Yeah.
mispronounce this. Maybe Kadana.
Yeah, you
I
got it.
said it right. All right.
Yeah,
Well, they just pulled in 7.4, so I apologize if I got your name wrong. For compliant payroll services in emerging markets. And this was the key for me. I think talent in emerging markets is incredibly strong, much stronger than you'll find locally. Actually, we've had some conversations just this week
sure.
around that. But paying these people is not easy. There are governance laws, rules, taxes, all this other stuff you need to be aware of and be able to do. Some companies you can't just go into countries and pay people. You've got to be set up, and it takes time. So I think this is going to help that process.
Yeah, I read this. I read the same story, and it's uh, getting getting employees paid in hard to get paid places
Yeah,
opens up the global talent market. So there's a lot of, or there's more global payroll providers. But what I like about their particular focus is the emerging markets.
emerging. Yeah,
Yeah,
emerging
yeah, well,
markets is key.
yeah, well played. Stitch PEO, a software company focused on human resources for independent medical practices, launched
Hmm.
with an almost $9 million in seed funding. This is at modernhealthcare.com. So you can go read a little bit more. So this is a PEO. It's a focused PEO on a very specific market.
Hmm.
And historically with PEOs, the more focused you are, the crazier the exit. So they're focused on a very specific human for independent medical practices. I think they're going to do really, really well. I think it's just well positioned and good for them. Learn to Win, provider of personalized, predictive, and secure enterprise training software, raised an oversubscribed $30 million Series A.
Oh,
So this is at learntowin.com, the company's name.com. So $30 million Series A. So
mhm.
let that
Not
settle in.
small.
No, no, that's historically high.
Yeah,
That's a big number,
it's blown it.
and turns out skills training is important. Like
Yeah,
$30 million is important. So good
yeah.
for them. I like how they're focused. I like the money, and good for them for getting it oversubscribed. Not easy. Last funding news that we
Storybox.
have: Storybox raised 5.5 million euros in a Series A. This is video creation for employee communications.
Mm.
So this is the SaaSnews.com. This is where I found the story. So you can read a little bit more about it. What I like about it is now Comms has a new, probably more effective way to communicate with employees:
Hmm.
video. Think TikTok for internal communication. So now they can create videos about whatever they're trying to communicate, and you can just scroll through it rather than going to the internet and
Yeah.
reading the policy or some,
Hmm.
shit. So I like it. First of all, I
Yeah.
like the play. And I think that market, the employees communication, internal communication folks, I think
Mm.
they're going to love it as well.
Yeah, definitely. And I'm glad TikTok didn't get into this itself.
Yeah.
Like
Yeah.
Facebook has tried to do Facebook at work and this
Yep.
and that and all this. I'm glad they just stay their lane, right? Let
Yep.
let the people play, let them enjoy, do what you do, and that's who you are.
Yeah.
I'm glad this is coming from someone else, but I
Yeah.
do agree. I love this idea, and I think it's going to go. If I was an employee at a company, this would be the way to get me. 100,
100%.
100%. We're done.
We barfed.
We are done. So
We
thank you all
barfed.
for listening. We have some stuff for Cornerstone coming out. So you guys will take a listen to that as it comes out. Subscribe, like us everywhere, and if you see us out there this summer,
Holla.
yeah, maybe say hello. All right. Until next time.